I feel like Compass has provided that for me, is wanting to be a better person for myself. And I've been doing that, and I'm so proud of myself. And I just want to keep doing that for myself and for my family and be a good role model and just show that I'm capable of doing all this, and not just because of the company, but also for my family, you know?
Welcome back to the Compass Mining Podcast. My name is Jarrett, and today I am joined by Alexander, who is a warehouse tech at Compass Mining. Alexander, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Thanks for joining. It's Friday. I don't know what Friday looks like at the warehouse, but are you guys winding down, or what does that look like? Because I know every Friday is probably different for y'all, but what's going on there today?
Right now on Fridays it's kind of slow for us over here in Denver, but we try to maintain busy. Our goal on Friday is just finish up, wrap up what we have for Monday, and settle down and just wrap up what we have. But yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you for taking the time. I know it's hard for me sometimes to get the attention of other people on the team because you guys are working so much and you're busy and you're
Oh yeah.
actually doing the things that get the miners out to the facilities and get them back energized. I was really excited to have you on, and I want to shout out Vishnu, our director of global logistics. Vishnu was like, I think you should talk to Alexander. Alexander is a cool story. Let's talk about that. So, can you give us a little background on kind of, who you are, and maybe start with also what you were doing before you joined Compass Mining?
So a little bit about me is I when before I started working for Compass, I was working construction, and it was a little bit about rebar. So I did a little bit of construction over there. I was doing it with my brother-in-law. We were doing it out in Colorado Springs, but it wasn't really working out because of the travel. It was too far, this and that. And so Jared hit me up. I used to work for Jared up in Tap, and so I thought it was a great opportunity. He hit me up. I came down here. I didn't know nothing about Bitcoin, so this is all new to me. I didn't know half the stuff that was happening down here. I didn't even know AM miners existed, and so he introduced me to this life over here, and it's pretty great. And I started working in the old DSC they had, and it was kind of crazy at first because I was confused on everything that was happening. I was very scared. I was pretty nervous because there was they hired me to be a cleaner, and when I was cleaning these miners, the first week there was a guy named Ethan. He was hurt from one of his legs, and he asked me if I could help him rack up and unrack the miners. And when I helped him, I was learning myself a little bit. I was watching over his shoulder. He was teaching me a little bit here and there. And there was a week where he couldn't go, and so they wanted me to go back to cleaning. And I asked Jared, I was like, I think I could do it myself. I think I could diagnose these miners, and I think I could give you the diagnose and put them onto the paper, you know? And so, yeah, I did. I was able to run test bench for a week. It was not easy because I didn't even know what the diagnoses were, what they meant, what I was doing. But it was a learning process. It took me quite a while to learn, but I mean it was pretty great. I can't say I learned only by myself. I learned a lot from these mentors. I have to give a shout out to Tatum, Eli. Those guys are pretty great. I learned a lot from them, and it's been just quite a rise for me. And yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And so before you were working with Jared, the director of the warehouse that we have on our team, and before that, Jared was also in some warehouse organization, some warehouse management. What were you doing with Jared specifically there? And then why do you think Jared was like, hey, Alexander, why don't you come join me at Compass?
I was working with him. I used to do a forklift driver, and I was also a order picker. So I would put away stuff and also take down stuff for customers. And so I wouldn't work with computers. I didn't know how to use computers at the time till I started this company. So I didn't even know how to use Control C, Control P, none of that. It was so hard, and it was very, very hard for me to learn all this. And when I got started, I felt pressured because there was times where I had to print out a paper and I didn't even know how to. I was very slow, and I felt like some of my peers were kind of annoyed, and I understand the feeling, and I don't blame them for it. But I eventually learned all the commands, and I still have a lot more to learn, and this is a learning process. And I I don't know. I just it's just a learning, and you just gotta ask questions. And it annoyed some of the coworkers. Asking questions is very important, but that's how you learn. And it took me a year to learn this, and there's still a lot more to learn. I don't say I know it all, but there's a lot more to learn. And I just say ask questions is the best advice I got, and I give it out as well. Asking questions is the best thing you can do.
Yeah, they say that the smartest kids in the classroom are the ones that ask the most questions, even if sometimes they can seem like they're the most annoying ones. But
Oh yeah.
you know for a fact that that is totally, you got to ask questions to learn. How long have you now been with Compass? I feel like a year, a little bit more.
Um, let's say in May, around the end of May, I will be a year for Compass, and yeah, I started just 1 week as a cleaner, and then after that, I was just test bench, and
So
it was good. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, I was at the DSC for a couple days back in November, and I've been over. I've seen the test bench. I've seen kind of the flow. I've seen people who are doing the cleaning of the miners, and I've seen the test bench. Can you walk us through an average day of what you do? Now, I realize this for you may be kind of boring, but also know that most people who are in Bitcoin mining probably never get to see what you're doing, probably don't understand that this is even part of the cycle. So, explain it to me as though I wasn't ever at the DSC and I have no idea about Bitcoin mining.
Oh yeah.
What is your average day like?
So we have customers that send miners to us over here, or we have big companies that do that with us. And what we do is I rack up a rack of app miners or what's miners, whatever we have, and I'll test them. We'll try to get the diagnosis, either they're good or bad, and we'll try to repair them ourselves. So like, if we have a app miner that test is bad and it's a control board or any bolt-ons, we'll fix them ourselves. And if it's a firmware update, something we'll fix it at the moment. But if it's something that's repaired, we'll send it straight to repair. But if it's fixable on our own, we'll fix it. And so the way we started is we'll have pallets from cleaners. They'll clean them. We'll go and grab the pallets, rack it up. After we rack it up, we'll test them. We'll scan them into our spreadsheets, and then we'll put them into our min logs, which is where we give our diagnosis, and then it will submit and end the test results, and then we'll put them in designated locations, which where we put them in our bins, and then from there on out they spread out to wherever company they go to or the customers, and so we put them so that way they're easy in access to be able to be found, and yeah, that's how we normally run the whole test bench.
You mentioned that this was, on the job was one of the first times you really got into computers and learning all the keyboard commands and the control, and then you enter a letter and it will do something different. Beyond, well, actually, here's the question.
Yeah.
What's been more difficult to maybe try to understand? Using of the computers or figuring out how the miners work, how the ASICs themselves work, how the ant miner, the what's miners, how the different types of miners work? Which one's been more challenging for you? Compass Mining makes Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone. Whether you're investing in one machine or thousands, our customizable solutions are tailored to meet your needs. We are your experts in Bitcoin mining, offering a platform where individuals and businesses can purchase hardware, host machines, and access a range of ancillary services. Start mining in as little as 48 hours with our turnkey hardware online and mining directly to your Bitcoin wallet within 2 business days. Discover more at compassmining.io and see how we can power your success.
I feel like the challenging part, and because I've gone to the point where now I train people that are new that come to our facility, the challenging part, and I tell them as well, the new people, is learning the ASICs, learning the diagnosis, because you'll look at the minor log and it's just a bunch of words, it's just a bunch of numbers put together, and you got to get your eyes trained to know what the diagnoses are, and it takes a while. It's not something you learn from a day till tomorrow. It's something that takes time, and once you learn it, you'll like right away you'll see the diagnosis and you'll know exactly what to do to fix it. And if it's something that's not fixable at the moment, you'll know that it has to go to repair. Or if it's unrepairable, you'll know it's unrepairable. And so I think that's the most challenging part is the diagnosis.
And how many ASICs, types of ASICs have you worked on, or are you familiar with, or are you comfortable with, or could you train people on today? Because as you know, there's tons of different types of miners.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of diagnosis. So there's like there could be different types of miners that will have temp sensors. They will have some that they'll fail on the first chip. There's 126 chips, and so one hash board could have a fail on chain 00 ASIC will be the first chip, or it could have a numbered ASIC where it could fail on any of the chips, you know. And so that right away is a board repair, and so that would go straight to one of our guys over in repair techs. But if it's something so simple like a control board or a PSU or something like that, then that's something we could fix. Or if it's just a faulty cable that is just broken up or just ripped, then we replace it ourselves and it's fixable ourselves. And we got trained on that as well. I have a guy that works with us. His name is Nikolai. He's very good, and he taught me. I learned a lot from him, and he taught me as well. Like whenever we get like a cable that's faulty or something, I learned as well from him how to replace those cables and stuff like that. And so stuff. Our goal is to basically try to fix a machine as possible as from us before trying to send it to repair. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then one of the things I wanted to ask you and I asked you what your age is offline. I won't reveal it.
Oh,
You
you're
know,
good.
I'm good. All right. Well, you're 23, and most people hearing this are going to be jealous of that. So you're 23, and I told you I would give you, all the Bitcoin and crypto in the world to be 23 again. As a
Oh,
23-year-old, who just recently started with Compass, did you ever think like working at this new Bitcoin mining thing? Jared's like, come over here and work in this warehouse with me. Did you think that this was going to be something that was going to be potentially for you, where you now start to see yourself as like, hey, I really feel comfortable in this. I want to grow in the industry. I want to grow in this company. Did you have any of that feeling before you came in? Because I feel like you may have that now.
I when I started, I didn't think much of it. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But I am blessed. I am blessed to be where I'm at, and I hope to see where I can get to. Cause my goal is to never stop and never stop growing. That's everyone's goal, I'm assuming. And so my goal is to see as far as I can go and just yeah, just prove myself that I am worthy and just show that I have skills that I didn't even know I had in me, you know. But yeah, I surprised a lot of my family members as well. And so this is something big for me and for my family as well.
I was going to say, because you said all these skills that surprised yourself. What's a skill that you're like, wow, I have this and I didn't think I had it, or I didn't think I could have it? What's one of those skills?
I'd say learning computer, especially computer. Um, I've gone a little more. I feel like working at Compass helped me a lot, like especially with staying away from alcohol and like not even wanting to drink. You could say I'm a year free of alcohol almost. You could say I always try to go like to the gym and stuff like that and maintain healthier. And I feel like Compass has provided that for me, is wanting to be a better person for myself. And I've been doing that and I'm so proud of myself. And I just want to keep doing that for myself and for my family and be a good role model and just show that I'm capable of doing all this and not just because of the company, but also for my family, you know?
Yeah, well, congrats for being, in and around a year sober. I think that's a really powerful thing. And I will say there's a lot of people in Bitcoin, especially, who start to work in Bitcoin and they start to basically put down alcohol. It no longer is interesting to them. And this is for a bunch of different reasons. But I actually want to go back and ask you about, you mentioned your family. How do you explain what you do to your family? Do they have any idea what Bitcoin mining is, and what does it mean for them to have, their grandson or their son or their brother to be now working in Bitcoin mining?
I mean, at first they were like me. We didn't think much of it, but now they're just like surprised seeing me reach goals, seeing me like develop even more like smarter like stuff that I haven't been able to do, like just learning a lot more stuff. They are like surprised that I'm even bettering as a person, and so they're just very proud of me, and they tell me, and I very am thankful for them because they have a huge part in the role for all this, and they play a huge role in this, and I'm very thankful for them as well.
And for your friends, you got friends, I'm assuming, and
Oh yeah,
you guys probably sit around and it's the weekend and maybe you're not working and you're not on the test bench and they all have their jobs, I'm assuming, and you work at Compass. Do they ever ask you what you do and how do you explain it? And I don't know, what are your friends thinking? I asked out of curiosity because I think for me personally, working at Compass is a huge privilege and I love it. And
oh
it's
yeah.
not always easy for me to explain, even though I feel like I do a good job in explaining to them what it is, what we're doing, how it fits into the Bitcoin ecosystem. But sometimes I don't know, they're just not interested or it just doesn't click. So, how do you explain that to your friends what you do?
I think I have the right friends because they tried to introduce me to Bitcoin a while back, and I didn't let myself be borrowed into it. And so now that I'm working in this crypto industry, they we have a lot to conversate about, and it's more stuff we get to like talk about, and just they also like invest in stuff like this, and one of them owns like ant miners themselves. They work on them at home, and so I sometimes come over and help them, and so it's something big for us, and so I enjoy having the friends that can also relate to something that I do on my job, and I'm able to help them as well.
I think you got some really great friends. If they were telling you about Bitcoin, that's a cool thing. If they're also
Oh
working
yeah.
on miners, that's a cool thing. So do some of them also work in the industry or is it more of like a hobby for them?
It's more like of a hobby for them, but they've been telling me about this for quite a while, and I just never let myself be barred into it, and I wish I would have.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
we all wish we had listened the first time we heard about Bitcoin or Bitcoin mining. We're
oh
just
yeah.
getting into the new year, and what's something that you're really hoping for this year for you personally, and also something you're really excited about maybe to see at Compass?
Um, Hopefully my goal for this year, and I've said it, is for test bench, and I'd say the goal is to test more good miners than have bad. But individually, as a person, for me, my goal is to grow as a person, see if I could grow in the company, and as well for the whole company. I hope the company can grow as well more, and I'm seeing it, and I'm growing with them, and we'll see what happens. And I hope that's the goal, and we keep growing because that's what we're doing.
Alexander, I want to thank you for taking the time because I know it's Friday and I know that the test bench is probably calling and you have other stuff that is
Oh
more
yeah,
important than coming on and kind of sharing your story. But as Vish, who reached out to me, Vishnu reached out and said, "Hey, I really think you should talk to Alexander." I'm glad we did this. I'm glad you came on. Thank you once again for your time because I think your story is super indicative to so many people's story who have gotten into Bitcoin mining. They didn't know about it. Now that they're in it, they see themselves in it for the long term and they can continue to grow both personally and professionally. I know that that's been my personal story. So I want to thank you for coming on. And for everyone watching, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Listening on a podcast platform, please subscribe. Make sure you're following us on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Compass Mining. Alexander, whenever I'm back in the DSC, I look forward to sitting down and seeing you again. And yeah,
okay,
thank you
man.
for hopping
Thank,
on.
thank you for having me.